Hey guys, it's Victoria with Take the Lead. This video today is to talk to you about prong collars. Those of you that know my training know that I am very encouraging of people to use a prong collar with their dogs. I use it with all the dogs that I train, and it's one of the most effective and gentle tools that I have found to actually communicate with your dog. This video is going to be about how to properly fit a prong collar for your dog, the mechanics of how to put it together, and then I will attach a link to this where you can actually see me introducing a prong collar to a dog who's never worn one before. I like prong collars a lot because it really allows you to communicate with your dog with very little effort. There's not a lot of physical strength that goes into it. It's all pressure and release. So we use it in a very gentle manner when we're teaching a dog how to understand what we're trying to say through the leash. Prong collars are nice because they apply even and consistent pressure that is non-constricting. You don't run into that situation where you have dogs pulling and gagging or choking like you may on some nylon flat buckle collars or another chain collar. It's really all in how you use the tool, but a dog that's pulling and putting a lot of pressure on their trachea is clearly not communicating with his handler, and that's not really effective training, and it's certainly not good for the dog. The nice thing about prong collars is that they do have prongs. They're elevated off of the throat, so you actually aren't constricting your dog's breathing. You won't put any pressure on the trachea, and it allows you to communicate in quick pressure and release moments, what you're trying to say to your dog, and it's very effective in turning some of the nastiest pullers, some of the most distracted dogs focus back to you. It is a very unattractive looking collar. If they were pink, maybe they would be prettier, but they're not. They have a name also called a pinch collar. I believe that the term pinch collar actually comes from how you put the collar together, and it does not pinch the skin of your dog. It does not puncture your dog. It applies even and non-constricting pressure. And it comes in 3 sizes that I like to use. There's a micro prong, which is for dogs that are under 10 pounds. That one's very small, believe it or not. Little dogs will use this one. That one is not made by Hermspringer, but Hermspringer is the company that I really recommend for getting a prong collar from because they have nice rounded edges. So this is a larger prong, Hermspringer. There we go. So nice rounded tips right here. The cheaper ones you may find at the store sometimes have just a flat, jagged cutoff. Can be a little more irritating on your dog. But the big thing with prong collar training is that there's not any pressure on the leash and on the collar unless you're communicating. So if you have a dog who is constantly having a tight prong collar, you're not using it right. To use it right, you really barely use it at all. It's just those moments of information where you give leash pressure, you give a leash pop that say, tune back into me, pay attention to me, and allows you to communicate with your dog and influence your dog's state of mind. They go together by these little links. You can take out and add as many as you need to. This I would recommend for a dog that's a lot larger. This is the biggest size that I go to. So a dog that's 45, 50, 60 pounds could use a large prong easily. This is the medium size or a smaller prong. I use this with most of my dogs. It's just a little easier for people to maneuver the prongs manually with their hands because it's a little bit lighter of a metal. But it's the same concept. You've got the prongs, you've got no pressure on the trachea of your dog wearing it. This again, some larger dogs can actually effectively wear this particular size. A lot of it just depends on your dog and the sensitivity of your dog. So let me show you the micro here. Teeny tiny, but they have them. This is not, like I said, made by Hermspringer. It's a lot smaller. You really only want to use this with dogs under 10 pounds because it is almost like jewelry, and you really won't have much benefit using it with a bigger dog or adding extra links. If you can, if your dog's not teeny tiny, try and go to a size like this. This is the 2.25 millimeter. This is the 3 millimeter. So you can see the difference in size. Same concept, same company, rounded edges. You just pick, which collar is better for you and your dog. To put a collar on and off, which I'll demonstrate in just a moment, actually putting it on and off of dogs, but you do it all through these links, like this. The prong collar is meant to attach it to the dog. You do not slide it over the dog's head. If you slide it over the dog's head, it's too loose and it's not fit properly. The fit is the most important thing about a prong collar. The quality that you buy, a good prong collar is important, but the fit is the most important thing, because if you don't have properly fit equipment, you're going to have cloudy communication to your dog. One extra thing when it comes to prong collars is I highly recommend a carabiner with your prong collar, which again I will demonstrate in a moment. Carabiners come in handy because your leash is on this hook, this is on your dog. You open your collar, you close it on your dog. That's not properly hooked. To someone who's not that experienced with prong collars, you may think that it's hooked because it all kind of blends together, but your dog could easily shake and be free. So what we recommend doing is your prong collar on your dog. Let me hook it back in here. So prong collar on the dog. This is your leash hook, the one that spins. This circle in here, this is called the dead ring. You actually take your carabiner, you hook it to the dead ring, and you're going to hook this to your dog's flat collar. You're going to put this where the tags go for like your rabies or your name tag. You're going to hook this on that loop so that if, God forbid, your prong collar were to pop off of your dog, you would still be attached to your dog. Show you. If your prong collar were to pop off of your dog, leash and everything, you would still be attached to your dog like this. Clearly, not with the same communication that you have with the prong collar, but you won't have a loose dog. This is just a safety precaution. I actually found some smaller ones that work nicely with these smaller prongs. So same concept, little carabiner goes on that dead ring there. Your leash goes on the one that spins. And you always have a backup, unless your dog is very well off-leash trained. Have that backup, because anything can happen. Your collar could fail, the wind could blow the wrong direction, you just don't know. Things can happen, and it's better to be safe than sorry, because nobody wants a loose dog getting hurt. So, next up, you'll actually see me putting the prong collar on and off of my dogs, and let you see how it actually looks when you put it together. But until you get your hands on one, it's a little challenging to put it together, but I think you'll get it. So stay tuned for the next part of this video.
Alright guys, we're going to demonstrate some prong collars going on and off now. I've got Khaleesi here and I've got Leo over here. And these two guys both wear prongs. I've got Khaleesi, she wears a smaller one. This is the 2.25. She can also wear the 3.0. A lot of it just depends on what works best for your dog. Some dogs are an in-between size. She is a little bit of that, so you just have to get a good feel for which prong collar works best for you. I like the small one with her, or the 2.25 with her, only because I get a little bit clearer communication with it, so I don't mind using that. You can add a lot of extra links and use this collar on a larger dog. With this particular collar, the 3.0, as you can see, I took out like 4 links because too many links would make this collar huge. So you really have to fit it right to your dog, so that's the important part we're going to go over today. The term pinch collar comes, I think, from this particular part of putting it on. You actually have to pinch the prongs here and push them through. So you pinch here and you push through. Get it off, you push down, you wiggle up. Push down with one side, you wiggle up with the other side. When you're putting it on your dog, it's important that it does not go over the head. So what you do, under the neck, behind the ears, pinch down, voila. And I can fit 2 fingers under here. And that's all you need. You don't need much more than that. I'll demonstrate that again. Under the chin, behind the ears, pinch, push. There we go. Good girl. We want our collar to stay at the top of the neck. That's where we have the most control of our dog. So, 2 fingers under the prongs. Now, the next step, very important step. You turn the collar around. Good girl. Turn around so that you can get to this loop here. Carabiner goes on the dead loop, which goes on your flat collar. Your leash goes on the loop that spins here. But you have the carabiner on the dead loop just in case your collar comes off. We'll take this collar off, and I'll demonstrate with the 3.0. Taking it off, fancy stuff here. Push down, pull out, unclip the carabiner. So same thing. Push down, wiggle out. Then you're going to pinch here and put it there. So pinch and put it in. All right, so under the chin, behind the ears, pinch, put it in. 2 fingers. Do that again. Push down and pull out. You gotta wiggle. Gotta wiggle it out. And this particular size, a 3.0, is a lot stronger of a metal. As you can see, I'm struggling with it a little bit. Again, under the chin, behind the ears, push in, there you go. So, 2 fingers. Again, we're gonna turn the collar up this way. Good girl. Carabiner to the dead ring. Put that onto her regular collar there. And then we have our leash hook right there on the one that spins. Good girl. When I leave a prong collar in the closet when I'm done, I leave it open. I recommend doing that only because if you close it and then someone else goes to get it out, they're may open it in a different spot than you normally do. So let's say that you closed it and put it in the closet, but you closed it wrong, like that. That's an incident where your dog's going to get out of the collar because they're going to shake when it's put on. And say whoever pulls it out of the closet opens and unhooks it here, and they never realize that you had hooked it wrong. It's a really easy mistake to make, and that could cause you to have a loose dog. This comes in handy to help prevent that, but you really want to avoid any problems if you can. So why don't you leave it in the closet like this and pick it up next time with it open. Let's go over to Leo. We're going to do the micro prong with him. With your furball dogs, it may look like you need bigger equipment than you do because they seem so much bigger. But again, it's all about the fit, and it's about getting down to the bottom of the prong, to the skin. So, again, pinch and push on this tiny little thing. If your dog's more than 10 pounds, really should probably use a 2.25 because this micro prong is really meant more for tiny things. So, again, under the chin, behind the ears. Leo is so fluffy that you're not going to see it. Another thing you run into with these fluffy dogs is it can easily get tangled. See the tangle there? So you just want to fix your fur, straighten it out, because a tangled prong collar is going to pull your dog's hair. You don't want to hurt your dog. So, it's on behind the ears. I would hook it to his flat collar. Again, pinch it on and off. Pinch in, push out. Good job, buddy. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Prong collars work really well. Make sure to check out the video where I'm going to show you how I introduce it to a dog, just so you can get an idea of how to start this stuff off. Thanks again. Talk to you soon.